And joining us now is Tony Schwartz, the best-selling author, CEO of The Energy Project, and co-author of the original The Art of the Deal with Donald Trump. Schwartz came out against Trump and warned about his danger before the 2016 election. Very good to have you. We have you at sometimes momentous or difficult times. We are in one of those. Because of your gifts, including writing, rhetoric, communication, I want to put up on the screen a thing that not everyone has heard about yet, but what they call Red Caesar. This right-wing belief, partly trolling, but partly ominous, that one solution here to what right-wingers call a coming collapse to the U.S. is Trump as a type of Caesar. What do these kind of arguments do, and should we take them seriously?
Well, we have to take incredibly seriously the possibility that Trump will win. He certainly could and can win. I think if the election were held today, I'm not going to say it out loud, but I wouldn't be happy with the outcome of that election. You
think right now he's on that track? He could be elected?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to fill it with caveats, including the fact that the change in events is so rapid in the world that we live in, and there's so many things that could happen that by no means do I assume it will happen, but it's terrifying and incomprehensible that it could happen.
We don't play a ton of Trump here, but we do try to make sure people understand what is being conveyed. And in measurable ways, what he is conveying this time is more extreme, more bluntly anti-democracy than what he said in 15 and 16. Here he was on Fox with Hannity. Take a listen.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not
drill.
That's not.
No.
That's not retribution.
I'm going to be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No. Other than day one, we're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator."
He is unequivocally going to be whatever level of dictator he can be, whatever level of authoritarian he can be. It's a no-brainer. He meant what he said, even though it seems insane to say that, because I think that actually lessens his chances of becoming one, even among those people who would be okay with it.
Hannity agrees with your political calculus. You might want different outcomes, but Hannity there shares your premise, which is you got to prune the edges of this or you will lose people if you openly vow retribution.
And he's proved time and time again that no amount of extremity is too much extremity in his case. And so I don't want to naively make the assumption that that will diminish his vote, but it's certainly a mobilizing call to action for anybody who doesn't want to live in a dictatorship. I mean, that's what's extraordinary, is that 50% of the country, you don't get off scot-free under a dictator because you liked the idea of that guy becoming the dictator.
No.
He's running the show arbitrarily, as he himself acknowledges, potentially illegally, as he's done so much that's illegal up to now. No, this is the most serious threat, and I would say really in the last 24 hours that has escalated, or 48 hours, that we've faced to democracy.
You've spent time with him. There are parts of him that endure. We have this headline that the Times initially surfaced, but for anyone who has an older Playboy collection, you might recall it. 1990, Tiananmen Square, widely reviled. I mean, no real domestic United States debate about killing innocent student protesters. And there he was then saying, well, when the students poured in to Tiananmen Square, the Chinese government, they were vicious, horrible, he says, but they put it down with strength. People can disagree about how strong it is to abuse a tank against innocent civilians. Many people would call that not only unethical, but also quite weak. Look at what weak people do in abusive positions in government power. Longer conversation, but that Trump the through line to here, the Trump you worked with when he was writing and talking to you and you were turning this into a narrative, is he nimble? Does he adjust? Is he ready for what is a pretty different environment in some ways next year than 16?
Is he nimble? No. Is he relentless? Yes. So more, bigger, faster is better is a Trump, watchword, and he still stands by it. So I think he will push. But when he said just before the 2016 election, if I stood in the street on Fifth Avenue and shot somebody, I'd be, nobody would come after me for it. The real truth is that Donald Trump, and this is what people need to know, is perfectly willing to come up to you or to me or to Liz Cheney or to any of the people who he may have perceived as enemies, which is, in effect, all of the non-right-wing media, and he could shoot you and not have a moment's pang of conscience. Because, and I've said this before, but boy, is it more clear now, he clinically, the right clinical diagnosis for Donald Trump is sociopath or psychopath. And a psychopath/sociopath has no conscience. And that's what makes him most dangerous. If you get two teams on a football field and one football team says, hey, the only difference for us is we won't play by the rules, you've got an enormous advantage. That's his enormous advantage.
Right.